Hello guys, this is Hamoudi from Bilu Media. How are you today? I hope you are doing great as always. Today we are looking at the Enzo drone. This is really amazing drone. I love how it looks and the features that it has. It is different than other drones on the market. I think you will really love it. This one is a 5-inch drone and it has this door hatch, or I don't know how you call it. So you open it like this and you have access to all the electronics if you need to do something or do some maintenance or stuff like this. And it looks amazing, and you will see it has some things that makes your life much easier, and they are really helpful. So to start building this drone, you need to assemble the frame. I have another another video for assembling the drone, so I will leave a link below. You can go there and see how I built this beauty first, and after you can come here to go ahead and continue building it. I'm using for this drone the EMAX 2207 1900 kV motors. Enzo himself, he's using those motors for his bind and fly drones, so you can buy from him a really ready to go drone, and it comes with these motors. And we are using the DJI O3. Since I have ELRS protocol on all of my drones, we will use the RadioMaster ELRS RP1 module, and I'm using the iFlight F7 stack and ESC. This ESC has 45 amps, I think, which is good for this build, but you can use whatever stack you want if you have something different. I have this and I want to use this. All what I do here, you can apply it for your stack, but be aware of the wiring scheme and how the flight controller connect to all of your stuff. So let's go ahead and build the drone. I will go ahead and remove this cover just for you to see, but you don't have to remove it. So now it's easier to work on the drone like this. First thing that I want to do is to install the motors. And for this one, the installation of the motors will be different than what I did, because as you can see here, we have LED, and the motor wires will be shorter. You have to connect it to this pad on all of the arms, and this is the only thing that differs. The other things is the same as the other builds that I did. Enzo provides you with the screws, with the exact screws needed for the motors, because we will install the arm protection and the skids, and you need a little bit longer screws, so the screws that will come in the kit, I mean in the motors, will not fit here correctly. So this is really nice that he provides, so go ahead and use those. So this is our motor, and I will go ahead and show you for one motor how I install it, and you can do the rest the same way. So we go ahead and attach the skid like this. You have to screw them a little bit, not to the end, so you will leave the upper part here, so it will be easier to put the motor. Now we can go ahead and put our motor like this. Just be sure to put the wires in the right direction. Perfect, so it looks like this with all the motors. And now we need to cut the motors to length until this here. Here is the LED strip, and we need to connect them here, and after we connect from here to the ESC. So be sure to leave a little bit wire, I mean to cut them to length, not too short, because otherwise it will be a little bit hard to do it again. Now we need to strip a little bit of the wire. Those leave them here because we will use them on the stack. So now you can strip them with your fingernail because it's really easy. Twist the wires a little bit. Now we will go ahead and prepare the pads and the wires. For this, it is very good idea to use Flux because it will be much easier to stick the wires. So we will go ahead and put some Flux here on the pads, like this. And guys, I am using the MINIWARE TS101. It's really amazing iron. I really recommend it. I love these things. I have a bunch of them, and I have the TS80P, which is really good. I really love this thing too, and they are very good. This one, the TS101, you can use it with XT60 battery because I have an adapter like this, and you can use it in the field with a battery, which makes it really convenient. So you go here and heat the pad a little bit and feed the solder like this. Perfect. Now we will go ahead and put some solder on the wires. It's a good idea now to use some tweezers because it's really much easier to do it like this. All what you need is to take the wires and press against the pad and press with the iron a little bit. And that's it. Just be sure that nothing is touching, I mean the wires themselves. You can use your phone with the magnifier, or you can use magnifying glasses like this and take a look. So they need to not touch each other, and then we are ready to move to the next step. Now I want to put the ESC here. This is the ESC with the battery leads on the back, but I want to raise it a little bit, and you have some little grommets or spacers, and we will put here like this. So now if we put the ESC, it will sit a little bit higher. But before we attach the wires from the ESC to the LED, we need to prepare the capacitor because it will be somewhere here under the O3 air unit. So this is why we have to do it, because we don't have place for it to sit here. So for this we need some wires. We need to cut the feet of the capacitor a little bit shorter, something like this. Now we can go ahead and tin the feet. This means to put a little bit solder so the wires can stick easier. This is the minus part, so we will put a black heat shrink like this. And now we need to know exactly how to put it, so we will not put the minus instead of the plus. Be careful. The capacitor will come under this, so you have to remove this. And now you can put the capacitor here. In my case, if you see here, this is the plus and this is the minus. And this is the plus and this is the minus. So I will install it like this. And now we can close this up and you can see which one is the plus and which one is the minus, which is perfect. Next step, guys, is to wire the ESC with the motors, but I want to do something else. I want to put the O3 camera under the ESC, the air unit like this. Perfect. And now we can put the ESC. Okay, it's a good idea to put the ESC on helping hands. It's easier to work with. And I cut these wires from the motors in half, and prepared the other half that was not prepared. I mean, tin the wires like I showed you before. I am using the TBS solder, as you can see here, because I have a lot of solder, and it's really a nightmare if you get a bad solder. So this one is a tin lead 63 by 37, so it has some flux. It has flux also, 1.8% flux, and it works really good. And it's around the same price as the other one. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it is worth it because I don't use the other solder that I bought because it's really bad. Now we can go ahead and solder the wires one by one. Now it's time to put the battery lead. In the package you received something like this, and you can use those, but I don't want to use them. I want to use my wire. I have a wire. Normally I would attach the wires like this, but here I don't have so much space, and this is why I will solder them something like this in an angle. It's not a problem. Perfect, guys. I think it looks really good, and this will not go anywhere. Now let's go ahead and put our ESC in place, and we can start soldering the wires to the LED. Now we have to put the camera down, but unfortunately we have to take this part. It was maybe easier to not put it because it's really snug and it's really tight. Put your hand here and grab it, and it will go really easy. No problem at all. And it's a good idea to put now ELRS antenna here, or whatever antenna you have. If you have crossfire, you can put the antenna here. So you push it like this, and you have the antenna. Like this. And we can go ahead and put one screw now, and after, depending on the angle, we will put the other screw. By the way, this one is really amazing too. It's from MINIWARE too. It's the ES15. It's really life-saving screwdriver. It has a motion detector, and when you twist your arm, it starts. You see? It's really good. I love it. I really love it, and I tried different screwdrivers, and nothing is like this. Here in this opening you can put an Insta360 if you want, but I don't feel the need right now because the O3 is really great. But if you have an analog, for example, or a different camera like the Cadix camera, then maybe you need the Insta360 Go. and you have, in this way you have vertical too. This is a really good way. Maybe you can use it as well for Instagram Reels and TikTok. Now let's attach the flight controller. It's easier now, like this. And now we can put this back again. Let's plug the DJI Air unit and the antenna. For this we have to remove the antenna because it has to go in this holder and we have to feed it here, so we have to unplug it from here and plug it back after, and unplug the UFL connector. Now we can go ahead and plug the DJI Air unit. Normally you will plug it directly to the flight controller. I have a plug here for the DJI Air unit O3, so it works, but it is directly connected to the VBAT. This means that it's directly wired to the battery plug. It is okay, I mean nothing will happen, but I want to protect it even more, and this is why I will wire it to this back. This is a 12 volts back, and it is very good for the O3 unit. Actually I had it on different build before and it worked perfectly. I have this plug, I already prepared it for the O3. If you have the O3, a new O3, you will see that you have those wires, this sequence. This is the plus, the ground and data, and after you have two wires, a yellow one I think and a red one too. These are for using the drone with the RC2 from DJI, but if you are not using it and you are using Crossfire or ELRS, yeah, then I recommend to cut them down, to take them out, because you maybe will have problems with it, with the drone not connecting to your ELRS receiver. I had this problem before and I prefer now to take them out. It's really easy to take them out. Let me show you how to take them out. You need a sharp needle or tweezers, and you need to lift this up like this and then pull the wire out. Please be sure to respect the wiring. As you can see here, I have the wiring in the flight controller and the wiring in the DJI. So make sure that the plus is going to the plus and the ground to the ground, and the RX from the flight control from the DJI Air unit will go to the TX in the flight controller, and the RX from the flight controller will go to the TX from the air unit. So this one will plug here, and this one will go to the flight controller. I have only two, as you can see here, two wires, because this is all what I need. I have the RX and the TX wires like this, and those other two wires, they will go to the back. I have the back here and I need two more wires to go to the battery. I can cut the wires a little bit shorter because they are too long, because the back will come here. So here we have in, ground, ground and out. The in one is the plus from the battery. This is how the back will get power. And this is the ground from the battery. Now we can solder the wires from the DJI Air unit. So this is the ground and the out, the plus. If you look here, you see that there is a 12 volts and it's bridged. What I mean by bridged, if you look here at the 9 volt pad, there is two pads, small pads, and some space between them. How this back works, if you need the 12 pad, you have to bridge the two plates that are near each other, and in this way you have 12 volts. If you need 9 volts, you need to bridge those pads. So it's really smart. I want to put some heat shrink now to protect the matic. Now we can solder the wires to the battery lead here. In this step we can prepare the capacitor too. Just make sure, guys, that you put the plus on the plus pad and the minus on the minus. I will keep it something like this, and this one as well. Now we can go ahead and attach them to the battery lead, but be careful not to desolder the battery lead. We can take the air unit a little bit out so we have clearer vision. Now we need to solder the wires from the back too. Let's secure the back and the air unit in place, and for this Enzo really did think it very well. And if you see here, you have some holes. You see here you have some holes where the zip ties will go and secure the air unit. Let me show you. So you need to feed it from one side here, and it will go out from the other side like this. It's really fantastic. And now we can secure the air unit and the back in the same time and cut the excess. Now let's go ahead and wire our receiver. In my flight controller I have a plug that is already done, and in the other side you need to wire it to the flight controller according to the scheme again. So as you can see here, this is the plug from the flight controller, and this is the ELRS, and you need to wire it exactly as the specification, the wiring diagram in your flight controller, so it will work. Otherwise you may fry it. I did it before, and so be careful to put the minus on the minus and the plus on the plus, and the TX from the flight controller to the RX in the receiver, and the TX from the receiver to the RX from the flight controller. So it's opposite. I mean, in one port in the TX you will transmit, and in the RX you will receive. This is why it's done like this. My receiver goes here, the plug, like this, and I will twist the wires a little bit, and I will cut it something like this because the receiver will come here. It's a good idea to put something over your flight controller so you will protect it. Let's prepare our ELRS receiver. So let's put some flux here. The TX here, that is the yellow one, on the flight controller is the TX, the RX, sorry, and the RX1, which is the white, on our flight controller is the TX. Let's go ahead and secure the stack with those nuts. Now it's time to put the ELRS in place, and for this we have those holders. If you have the mini, I mean 20 by 20 holes, you use the small one, and if you have a full stack you use those bigger ones. And here you have two sizes, a big one and small one. As you can see here, this one is bigger than this, and you put first one, the short one, and put the receiver here and put the long part on top like this. Last thing what we need to do, guys, is to put the battery lead, and we are finished. So the battery lead will come here. You will see there is a really smart thing here too. The battery plug will be here. We can go ahead and secure it, and look at this, guys. So I have small holes here, and you put in a zip tie from one part like this, and magically it comes from the other side. I really love these touches. It's really smart. And you go ahead and put this here and secure it with the zip tie. And perfect, it's not going anywhere. We can cut this. Now is the final part, is to plug the battery cables, and we are finished. Let's go ahead and cut the wires to length. Go ahead and put the cap now, because otherwise you will not be able to put it after. And now we can put some solder in the battery plug here, but it's a good idea to put an extension cable, simply plug it here, because otherwise the heat will damage the plastic. So in this way the heat will continue in this wire, and you will have less stress on this guy. So let's go ahead and put some flux inside. I cut the zip tie because it was hard to solder like this, and now we can close the cap and put it in place here. Now we can take it off and put the antenna. And we are finished, guys. Look at this guy. I know I don't have the cap, the cover, but I want to test it first to see that it's working, and after we will put the cover. For this, guys, don't forget to use the smoke stopper again, because it is really crucial. So let's go ahead and plug it here. For this I need to plug an extension again because it's easier, it's a little bit tight. And plug the battery. Let's see. Perfect! So it works, the ESC works, and the DJI Air unit is lighting here. The flight controller, you see lights over here, and the ELRS receiver is lighting too. So next thing that we have to do is to put the cover, and we are finished. Let's actually put the lights on, because I think we need to ground some pads to have lights. We have some pads here, and we need to ground some pads in order to have colors. So here we have the red, the green, I think, blue. So let's try the pink one. For this we have to bridge the red and the green one in the same time. Let's put some flux. Like this, and the green. Perfect. Let's put a battery back and see if it lights. I guess, guys, it will light when it's armed. Let's put the cover back. and now it closes like this, and you put the rubber bands like this. And what is really nice about this is the battery holder here. So you plug the battery like this, and then you have it secured, and you put the battery plug here. Perfect! It looks really amazing. I like very much that the camera is protected here, so you have TPU everywhere, and you can play around with the angle without any problems. You can put here an Insta360, so it has its place, and you can film in the same time horizontal and vertical, I mean portrait and landscape, which is really good, because a lot of times we need to film in the same time for Instagram Reels and for YouTube as well. And I like this touch here. The air comes inside and cools the unit, because otherwise it's a little bit hard to cool the unit, but it's really smart. And here you have some space to cool the air unit as well, and to access the USB-C here, which is really nice. And I like how it looks overall and how everything is really organized. You have here the antenna of the ELRS, and everything looks very nice and really smart. I really like it. And if you don't like the battery holder in the future, which in my opinion it's really great, I mean, I don't see a reason why not use the battery holder, only if you have a fat battery that doesn't fit here and you want to use that battery, but otherwise it doesn't make sense. And you can put a strap right here, so you see the aluminum part, you have a strap that comes from here, and you secure the battery like this. And I like that the battery is down and not up. I didn't have a drone before like this, a 5-inch drone. And I like how the capacitor fits here inside, and it's really protected. So yeah, very nice guys. Now it's time to go to Betaflight and configure this beauty, and configure the ELRS receiver to connect with my remote controller. I will not do this in this video because I did it exactly the same in other videos. I will link the video that you have to follow in order to configure it exactly, almost exactly the same, and go fly it. Perfect guys, so I configured the drone in Betaflight. I upgraded to Betaflight 4.4.3 I think, and now it is configured and it's ready to go. I also configured my ELRS receiver, so let me show you. Let's arm the quad. You see I have the blue light. I don't know if you can see it. And the buzzer is working too.
Buzzer active.
So let's go ahead and weight the drone. So with the battery, 690 grams. I have here the 1400 battery, and without a battery it's 486 grams. So this is it guys for today. I am really happy that we built this beauty. I really love how it looks. It looks amazing, and I love the touches that Enzo put in this drone. I mean, he really worked hard to make the design and make all the features that you see here, and it's very good I mean, it's very protected. You can get wild with it because the O3 is protected here. This is the main idea, to make it freestyle and to not worry about the drone. And in this way, if you hit something, you can go ahead and print this unit and the camera holder, I mean, and you are ready to go. By the way, Enzo sells this drone like this, I mean functional, and sells only the frame kit. And now he started selling only the carbon fiber, I mean the kit without the 3D printed parts. And you can go ahead to his website and download the TPU parts, and you can customize your own drone basically, which is really nice. And you can remix the parts if you want something different, and go ahead and do it. But I think it's really very nice design and very functional, and I think it will fly amazing. So let's go outside, guys, and fly this beauty. Thank you very much again for watching, and see you in the next one. Thank you, bye.
Bring it back, 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 bring it up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it bring it back, bring it up. Bring it back, 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 bring it back.